There we go, perfect. Make sure that's the right thumbnail and stuff, because you never know. Oh yeah, all good, all good. Hello, Dragon Soat. What is going on? Welcome in, welcome in. How's it going? I am just enjoying my Friday. And today we are going to be talking some TTRPG fun stuff. Mostly Daggerheart birthday news and about making my own adventure. And like how I go about that. Like this morning I woke up and I was like, like I said earlier, I had so many things that I wanted to do, and then I did a bunch of little things, and then I got absolutely hyper focused on something I shouldn't have been doing, which was this idea of like how I could make a Daggerheart adventure or any TTRPG adventure in like a different way, a way that I would like to run it, kind of thing. I think I came up with like a good system for it. So today I figured we'd look at this adventure that I've half made, maybe finish it, and potentially get it in a position to release for Daggerheart's birthday, which is the 20th. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, can we do a sound check? Do I sound okay? Do I look okay? Am I buffering? You know? If I move my hands, can you see them smoothly? All that jazz. Am I too loud? Can you hear my music? I sound fine. Looks questionable. Oh, it's on. I make an adventure called The Infinite Constructs for a Nova Heart sci-fi setting. Create for Daggerheart. That's awesome. Dude, I would love to play a sci-fi setting, or like a sci-fi campaign using Daggerheart. I think I said this yesterday on stream, but I think as a setting, the hope and fear mechanic really suits sci-fi. There's something about there just being a chance that things like more of a completely random chance that suits sci-fi more. I do not remember it well, but I think back to like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and there's that button on the ship they press, and like random, it's like reality bending and anything can happen. I feel like there could be a lot of weapons and devices in a Daggerheart sci-fi game where if you roll with fear, like it really explodes in your face. Really bad things happen that I could just get on board with. I think it'd be fun. Zayantist, looking good on your end? Good, good, good. Yeah, I changed the lighting slightly. Where now I guess I've had it the past few streams as well. But I think it's more like noticeable here. So I have this kind of blue light shining from this angle here, and I have warmer light shining on my hair, and it frames my face. And I don't know if I like it or not. I'm trying to figure out if I like this lighting, or if it's a bit weird. The Infinite Improbability Drive, thank you. There's a Kickstarter one called The New Unknown. Yes, I saw that. I looked at that yesterday. How is that doing, actually? I was looking at it very closely because I was like, how much can a Daggerheart Kickstarter make? I don't know a lot about the publishers of this. So it might be that they're much bigger. But obviously you have things like the Dungeon Dudes Drakenheim book, which is going to hit $600,000. But they're the Dungeon Dudes. But like a normal publisher doing a Daggerheart book, and this is a big thing as well. I think there's like multiple core, or it's like a full core rule book again, with cards and classes and everything. It's a big deal. It's like 300 pages of content. Oh my god, I was editing down my video from 2 days ago where I streamed, and I thought, you know what, I'll cut out everything. And I cannot apologize enough for the amount of times that I say I said so much during that stream that I'm actively trying to stop it now. So if you hear me say and I will many times, I want you to just mock me in chat. Just go Maybe I should make an emote that's just because I need to like train myself not to go Especially if I want to actual play more and GM actual plays. Because, well, I mean, Brennan Lee Mulligan does a lot of but he is kind of allowed to, because then the stuff that comes out of his mouth is amazing. And until I get to that point, I kind of want to get rid of the count 0. Yeah, don't count all the I'm saying actively. Oh, I also wanted to make a fear tracker as well that would appear on screen that I could like up and down. So at any point I would just press one of these buttons on my stream deck here. I just said only counts as one. If I say and catch it, there is like a grace period of 20 seconds where I can say as much as I want and get it out of my system. You need to ensure you have not only a key light, but also ample cross light. Do I have ample cross light? You sound like an expert, Zayantis, so I'll take any advice you have. How do I look? What would you change? I've actually got 4 lights on me right now. I've got a $30 Amazon cold light over there. You can see it on my hand. It's very blue. I have a warm version over here. You can see on my hand, it's very warm. Now I know normally you would just have one of those. And then right here I have like 2 lights in front of me that I like trying to, I'm gonna say like a lot. That's how I'm gonna get around the thing. You're gonna just see me say like a lot. So these are like lights like that, like light my face like. It's gonna be a work in progress. The great debate, the great cleanse. It could make it worse when I think about it. I'll more often. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. We're gonna mock him. But he won't get to chat till 20 minutes later. Yeah. Got him. Urban Fantasy could also work amazing with Daggerheart. I would love to. I've never GM'd a game, or that's like I've played D&D once where it was in the modern world. But there was still like magic. It was like a twisted modern world. It actually wasn't a modern world. It was a one-shot ran by a bar near me. The DM was amazing. And it was like, the setting was Toronto, but it was like a magical version of Toronto. So technically I've never played just like a modern, urban TTRPG. And that's a shame, because I think I would really enjoy it. My wife is an expert and know you need to add some diffusion to the side lights, and I would recommend bringing the coloration up to a cooler tone. Around 3,500K. Wait, you're getting technical. You're getting technical. Do you know what tone this is now? I do need to add some diffusion. I'm kind of worried about that because the idea of getting a softbox makes the lights 12 times bigger, and I already don't have a ton of like space here. In fact, how much does a... Welcome to the stream. We are doing a shopping stream, everyone's favorite D&D episodes. Oh my god, Amazon has like an AI now. I can help you shop. Yeah, okay, dude. Light, soft box. I did do film and TV production at university, but I did not pay attention during the lighting stuff. I feel like I could just get parchment paper, like baking paper, and put it over these lights. Softboxes are more expensive than the lights on Amazon. These cost $30. Softbox is $50 apparently. I need 2 of them. $108 for 2 of them. I don't know. Maybe I just turn the lights down slightly. Nah, get a LED panel with color control. They run about 200, 300. I don't know. I'd want now. It's too expensive. You want your key light to light your face, the cross light to remove the shadows via diffusion, and backlight to add coloration and depth. Right. So I've got my key lights here. And I think my key lights are fine. So I was imagine like one key light here. And then the cross light. Move shadows and backlight to add coloration and depth. I'll look into it. But I appreciate it. So, Darrington Press released a little blog post yesterday. Oh, actually, let's look at this Kickstarter a little bit more. This Daggerheart Sci-fi Kickstarter. Yeah, they're at $19,000 with a pledge of $2,000. And we talked about this yesterday. That I don't believe this number in any way, shape, or form, but it is what it is. So, but they're doing well. That's 19 days to go, so it's definitely going to happen. But I know for a fact, if I was going to make a core rulebook the size of this, which I think is their intention, then with art, you're looking at probably like between 30 to 60K on art alone. Now, I've done very basic research into this, but that's kind of the numbers that I was getting. You know what? It is a little bit too blue on my face. Hold on. That's better. I kind of diffused it by just turning it down. I think these are LED panels. But yeah, I think if you're going to make a core rulebook, I just feel like... Oh, I guess the thing is they're not printing it. They're not actually publishing it, as in sending out the cards and sending out the books. They are making... I say making. They are doing it where if you buy this and you want to print it, you do it yourself through DriveThruRPG. And then... I think that was FAQ. They worked out how much it would cost on top. How much will print on demand be? So if you wanted like a book, a solid Daggerheart style hardback book, you'd be looking at adding between $43 and $55 using premium colors and all that jazz. So let's say it's $50 that you have to add. So that changes things. And then if you just want, what's it in here? This includes 9 classes. Right, so if you wanted like the full book, I think you'd need to be a crew member. So you would be looking at like $90 for the book, which isn't insane, which is, I'd say, standard for something like this. It's just that you've got to print it yourself and pay for it yourself and do that stuff. I say print it yourself. I think they handle it. They've made it as easy as possible, but you have to pay for it separately. This is one of the strange friction points at the moment. Don't want to hype the drama train, but the CGL and Down Express silence on the matter is very restrictive to digital third-party material. I was trying to look into this because I saw on Reddit people were not happy about mostly the Foundry situation. That people want to make, or 3D VTTs in general. People want to make stuff for 3D VTTs, and they can't, and it's made much, much worse because we're about to get like brand new classes and subclasses and ancestries and all that stuff in Open Fair. And I think a lot of these systems, like for example, Daggerbrain and Heart of Daggers that we looked at yesterday, they can't get their hands on those, and they're not sure yet if they will be able to when the book's released. Like, will it go in the SRD? Yeah, give me the speedrun version, please. Let me know. Tell me like I'm 6 years old. Because as a third-party creator myself on this, I've not run into any issues myself, but I'm not trying to publish stuff, and I'm not trying to make stuff for VTTs. But as someone who wants to run actual plays and make PDFs, it seems pretty good for me. Alderbrain, for example, had, and I say had, a Foundry module up as part of their model. Right. Rex Nova Blob, how's it going? Hi there, I really hope there are some extra stuff around Clanks or Rogues. I really want more sophistication on those classes and ancestry. Those specific ones, Rex Nova? Are those... I think there could be a lot more lore built around Clanks. I don't think we're going to get that in Open Fair. I don't think Open Fair is going to focus on any of the things in the original core rulebook. But that is true. That would be nice. And Rogues? Do you not think Rogues are in a good place? However, the team that made the system in Foundry has been actively pinging Darrington Press about that very issue without any response. So it made a situation where the VTT system wasn't whitelisted, but the Elderbrain content that ran on the system technically was. The VTT system makers are the ones that posted that Reddit post a few days back. Oh, so it's Foundryborne, right? Oh, that's the one I saw. Was like a Foundryborne based one. And if you look at the anniversary post, about 30-40% of the posts are... Yeah, let's take a look at that, because that's what put me onto it, actually. That's what put me onto it. So, in fact, yeah, let's do some investigation here. So, they put out a post yesterday. Daggerheart Birthday Week events. They're nearing 1 year anniversary of Daggerheart's release, May 20th, and they're inviting us to join them for a special event. I think it's going to be a big event. I'm looking forward to that. We'll have a new adventure, which is cool, and places to play it at game stores and start playing. There's going to be new merch releases, whatever. A live stream on May 20th with special announcements and natural play to kick it all off. Read more on the website. And then you go down, and the first thing is, so CGL and SRD updates when? And then the Sound of Silence.png, which, in all fairness, came out very quickly after the first one. A perfect first birthday present. We want a salary raise, CGL SRD updates, but instead we'll get a catered lunch and raffle. Part of not being within the VTT stuff, part of me thinks, I don't know what the full extent of this is. Like, is there a mix of, because I do think Darrington Press should come out and talk about it if people are saying stuff like this. They also might be planning something. So that's another thing. What if they're like planning on this birthday to release all this information? Because Darrington Press and Critical Role tend to be very strict with their PR. So they won't like release information early, they'll just stay quiet. But that's presuming a lot on their side. But then is the other side of like, are we being a little bit entitled here to be able to make money off their IP? So, but that's, once again, I'm open to the conversation. Yeah, but I don't know why, but what you can do as a Nightwalker is just not enough for me. Perhaps I just want a multi-class. Yeah. I did not see what you rolled, Rex Nova. It did roll, right? Should have done. You're using Foundryborne for my Saturday games, and I'm really liking it so far. Yeah. Frame it this way. Yeah, go for it. So Foundryborne is... They pushed Daggerheart in the shadow of the OGL scandal and took on Chris and the like too. Yeah. Oh, nice. If it was an 18, I'll believe you, Rex. Congratulations, you succeed. Hope we get a roadmap. A plan, books, any announcement of the future for Daggerheart would work for me. Yes. I think we will. I'm trying to play both sides here, and I know I shouldn't, but it's still not been a year. It's still not been a year. It truly has not been a year yet, so I don't know how demanding the community can be for new stuff when they've announced an announcement, I guess. We can get up in arms after the announcement if it's not, as good as we want it to be. So it's an odd choice to now mimic a similar approach of locked third-party publishing out of the digital territory. Is that what 3PP stands for? Yeah, we'll see. I'm just simply going to presume. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here and say that things are locked up in bureaucracy. Right? There's also... Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Because I am like a Daggerheart and Darrington Press fanboy and stan. So I'm going to defend them. That's my natural inclination. I'm aware of that. So I'm trying to think of the other side and I'm trying to curve against that and look at like how they can improve. And looking at all this, I think communication would be good. So we will see. But once again, even these posts here were 18 hours ago. Like, it's not been a day yet. And people would have been asleep for, or not in work, for 12 hours of this time. And Darrington Press isn't a small company. I mean, it is and it isn't. But as far as I know, or making a presumption, is that they actually have a lot of systems in place that more mimic a bigger company, especially when it comes to PR. So they can't just like respond. They have to go and like find out what they can say and what they can do first before they can do anything. And that can get tied up for days in bureaucracy. So basically wait and see is what you're saying. Well, Dragon, so I don't know what else we can do. Because like it or hate it when it comes to Daggerheart, they have all the power outside of us just not playing that game anymore. And as far as I'm concerned, they've not done anything to make me not, to make me think that it's worth not playing the game or boycotting. So I think we just have to wait and see. Prime example was in the promo video with Matt and the Elder Brain. He even at one point mentioned Foundry, and then mysteriously the Foundry modules were removed. Have Foundry come out and said anything though? So it was an official Critical Role partnership, and they ripped down the Foundry modules, all while being silent. Right, what are Foundry saying? The original post is 1 week ago. Wait, what's happening? I just got here. Search for the future of Foundryborne, yes. I think I did read this last night, but I will. Future of... Now, I should say here, we kind of had this in the past as well with what happened with the Hero Forge stuff. I don't want to, like... I can say that I'm a fanboy of Daggerheart and Darrington Press, and I don't know a ton about Foundry. What I learned from the Hero Forge stuff, which happened months ago, when Hero Forge got Daggerheart, like the licensing, and created a bunch of minis that you could buy, but you had to pay an extra fee. You had to like become a subscriber to get access to the Daggerheart stuff, making a Daggerheart mini more expensive than a normal like D&D mini, right? And I remember getting very mad at that because I was like, why? It feels like they're taking advantage of the fact that they know that the Daggerheart fans like don't have a choice and are passionate and willing to like spend more money. And I made videos about that and stuff, and I still think I'm right. I still don't think they should have done that. They should have found another way around it. But the amount of like Hero Forge fans that were coming out of the woodworks, like defending Hero Forge, when there was a level of just like, I just don't think they should be. I laid out the logic. It's like, I don't think Daggerheart minis should be more expensive than D&D minis. And I still want to give them my money. And now I'm not going to give them my money. And that's kind of the end of it. But the amount of like fans of Hero Forge that were coming out and really arguing against me on all this. And there really was just like a level of both Hero Forge and Darrington Press just stayed quiet the whole time. And I actually think Hero Forge came out after a few days and apologized and made some changes, but it's still kind of whatever. But it's kind of, that kind of maybe is this, right? It's just, this is like Foundry and Critical Role have to come out and say something fundamentally. The fox symbol in Reddit is the creator of the Amazing Creature supplement. Ah. Foundry has the modules needed to be removed and refunded due to the license issues. Okay, I want to find the Foundry post. And there's actually a few in here. The future of Foundryborne, so we'll take all of that. Foundry, what happened to Daggerheart? But this very much seems like specifically a Foundry thing. Right? Am I right in thinking that? The only other complaints I've heard are from like Heart of Daggers and Daggerbrain and sites like that where they don't have access to, say, the art, or they don't have access to, say, the new classes and things like that. And I'm kind of like fair with that stuff. I don't think I don't think we should just get access to use their art, you know? I don't think we should just get access to use stuff that's not been officially released yet. It would be nice if they put everything in SRD, like Bloodhunter and stuff, when they are released. I hope they do, but they don't have to. So I'm on the fence of this. Until we get like specific, I'm saying we don't have enough information yet to like pick up the torches and go after them. That's what happened with Elder Brain material. You have to sub to their subscription to get access to the Foundry module, but the CGL does not allow you to monetize digital play materials at all, so Foundry can't sell stuff, but Elder can, and run it through the Foundry system. Okay, yeah, that sounds a bit weird. Nope, it's all digital play materials that are not allowed under the CGL. On VTT aspects, Alchemy RPG, my personal favourite, your personal VTT has announced the Daggerheart for their page, but the price is high. Yeah. You cannot make anything for Daggerheart and label it as a Daggerheart compatible and it have a pay component in VTTs, right? In like I can make stuff, PDFs and stuff. Just so we're clear, this is a very specific digital play space situation. It's digital online tools cannot make stuff. And I think that is simply because they have a partnership with Demiplane for that, right? I would presume. And whatever happened with Foundry, we don't know, we may never know. But that kind of makes sense to me. They partnered with Demiplane to create a digital tool set. And there's stuff in there that stops other people from doing it because Demiplane is under their umbrella. Came in late and wondering if someone would mention that Daggerheart comes to Alchemy VTT. Yes, it is. And it looks good. It does look good. I'm not going to use it. And that's the other side. If I sound callous to this, it's because I don't use these tools either. So I don't mean to sound callous, like, and unempathetic. I just mean, if I was someone who used the tools a lot, it would be a bummer. Anything digital, right, correct. Inside VTTs, yeah. Yeah, so I'm presuming it's just the Demiplane thing. Like, it makes sense to me on paper. I would like to know what happened with Foundry, though, because I believe they were going to have an official Foundry situation. So let's have a look. Although I haven't played a game of Daggerheart, back a few months ago when Foundry was put on the whitelist, I added the Foundryborne and Daggerheart UO systems to my Foundry install. About a week ago, the update mechanism started complaining about being unable to find the files. Sure enough, having a hard time. I did a quick Reddit search for this sub for Foundry and only really found Foundryborne posts. Does anyone know what happened? The dev stopped playing Daggerheart, and with Foundry's new AI policy, UO and their modules for Foundryborne won't be updated. Dev stops playing Daggerheart and so lost impetus to dev the system. Right, this is all hearsay, I think. Oh, this guy is this guy Foundryborne? Yes, that is basically it. There are a lot more details, of course, but they don't really contribute to anything, so I'll keep it at that. There are not really any recommended or required modules. The system itself offers optional integration with DICE, so nice, however, and our Discord server has a general modules discussion channel forum. Dawson B. Is this the same person who did this? No. I don't know. I'm more confused than anything else. You're going to buy the Alchemy VTT Daggerheart Enhanced for your online parties. Alchemy is your go-to VTT? Right. So I presume there might be an Alchemy thing as well that's like stopping other people from getting access. The similarity would be a proprietary charge cable to force using their ecosystem. That's the wrong one. This is the right one though, right? The future of Foundryborne. From 9 days ago. Trying to find where you put the future of Foundryborne. Yes. Okay. So over here we started Foundryborne to build a robust, high-quality Daggerheart experience for Foundry VTT. So these are just people. These are just modders, fundamentally. Or is that incorrect to say? Is that insulting to call someone like a modder? But it feels like that's what they are. They're like separate from both Daggerheart and Darrington Press, and they're separate from Foundry. They are like a third party that wants to make stuff, which is fine. However, we have reached a point where the project's growth is being fundamentally throttled. We are sharing this today to be transparent about why the project is in a state of partial development limbo and what needs to change to move forward. Okay, so it sounds like this is actually a good post. They're literally just saying this is what's happening. While the Daggerheart SRD is a generous foundation, the current restrictions create a massive gap that goes beyond simple missing features. We are currently blocked from core mechanical depth. We cannot include campaign frame mechanics or implement the Hope and Fear expansion arriving in August. That makes sense. I mean, I think the Hope and Fear stuff is like, we have to wait for it to get here before we can complain about it. Right? Am I off there? I think complaints about not having access to Hope and Fear aren't warranted because it's not out yet. The campaign frame situation is interesting because I don't think you need campaign frame stuff for it to be a fully functioning thing. I don't believe. But they also have a problem with a healthy ecosystem. The current license prevents third parties from monetizing their own content on VTTs. This creates a stranglehold where creators don't truly own how they distribute their work. We've already seen the community lose out on content like Ghostfire Gaming's Dungeons & Drakenheim because of this. Yeah, so I presume this is because they're just working with official partners, right? So it's like Alchemy and Demiplane, and they're building those systems up properly. Don't get me wrong, this sucks. This does suck. I think the biggest issue for me is the communication. By restricting content so tightly and refusing to provide a legal path for VTT instigation, users can't play the full game they love, on Foundry. Right? A year of silence. The most exhausting part of this journey has been the lack of communication. For a year, we have made numerous attempts to establish a dialogue with Darrington Press. These attempts have been met with total silence. Open source development is fueled by passion, but that passion is easily neutered when we are left hanging without a roadmap or a contact person. Yeah, I think the biggest complaint here, to me, that has the most value, and that does not mean it doesn't, like, if you play Foundry a lot, or if you make stuff for these VTTs, you're going to have a very different view of this than me, and I don't want to take away from that. Like, you're good, but the biggest issue for me is communication, and that is a pity, because they should be able to get back to people if they send them an email, even if it's just a basic thing. They've tried to become a partner, though, and they have yet to even respond to their requests. Yeah, that's the shame. That's the biggest shame. Yeah, that does suck, but not been a year yet, and they've been busy. So I'll be interested to see what happens. I'd really love another Age of Umbra from Critical Role. I actually subscribed to Beacon for that. Have you been subscribed ever since? Just waiting? I think we'll get one. I think they will announce it on the 20th. When I was saying this, I think they're going to follow a very... Well, they've kind of messed me up, because I thought they were going to follow the same like year release schedule to try and capture the same success as last year. So I thought we were going to get Hope and Fear like by the end of this month to coincide with when we got the original core rulebook. So they pushed that back. But I can believe that we will get Age of Umbra around the same time we got it last year. Like, that makes sense to me. Hello. And lo and behold, we got Age of Umbra Session 0 on the 26th of May. Hold on. We got a trailer though, right?
Daggerheart as
22nd of May we got the trailer for it. So I think we're gonna get Age of Umbra pretty fast. Because that was a quick turnaround. They did the trailer and then almost immediately put the first episode out there a week later. They want to release Hope and Fear in limited quantities at Gen Con. When's Gen Con? July 30th to August 2nd. Yeah. Should I go? Should I go? I don't even know. Where is Gen Con? Somewhere in the States, right? Gen Con. It's July 30th to August 2nd. And it's the largest and longest running gaming convention in North America. But where, though? Indianapolis. Yes, I am searching Indianapolis on Google Maps right now. I'm not American. I don't know where it is. Indianapolis, Indiana. Oh, it's like mid-America. Oh, it's close to Cincinnati. And Chicago, in fact. I bet it's one of those situations, though, where if you go to one of those, you've got to book your accommodation in advance. Otherwise, it gets really, really expensive, right? The airport there is rough. Oh, yeah. Enjoy the cows. Wisconsin this year. Speaking of, are you going to continue with Daggerheart Live Play? Yeah. Did you enjoy the Daggerheart Live Play? I am planning currently to run a live adventure on Twitch and on YouTube next Friday. So in 7 days. And I'm trying to like figure out how I want to do it. There's so much stuff that goes into like doing it live. But I'm hopeful we can get it done. And then I will edit it down and put sound effects on there and make it take the 4-hour, 5-hour live stream and turn it into like a 2-hour YouTube video like the last one, maybe even shorter. Because that was the biggest complaint about the last one even. It was still too long. Just actual plays are just too long. You know? And the reality is I could have cut more stuff out. I could have. But I wanted to show the in-betweens of stuff. Just to show that side of it. Like, I'm a human GM and this is... I could have cut out so much stuff that I was like, why did I do that? But I guess in this scenario, the live stream will be up for people to watch the full thing, warts and all, and then I can edit it down to make it nice and pretty and easier to digest. The question is, what should I run? Like, would you guys want to see a new adventure? Because I'm actually tempted to do the Sablewood quick start guide. Give that a go. The only thing that really is making me not... Because I've not ran that before. I read through it. It was a while ago. I'd have to spend this week reading through it. Maybe I'll tweak a few things to make it fit my table. But it would be interesting to see how that quick play runs. But it's tier 1. Nice. 15 ringtail. It's tier 1. It's level 1. And I'm just like, Maybe I scale it up to tier 2 or even tier 3 and we just do that one shot. What's happening, Silence? Dragon So, you want to buy the deluxe edition, but they don't ship to Mexico. It's a boomer. We can't get the special editions sent here. Oh, bummer. Yeah, that's a pity. That's a shame. I'm not going to call them out. Maybe it's normal, but I was thrown off because I have a local game store here in Toronto. And you won't know which one because there's like 4 big ones. There's more actually. But I looked at the shop of one of them to see what Daggerheart like stuff they were selling. I wanted to see if they had the card packs. And at this local game store, they had a core rulebook deluxe edition, the limited edition, and they were selling it for $1,000. Now, part of me is kind of like, okay, it's limited edition. And this is a store that buys other older stuff and it sells older stuff. So it's got like, you know, D&D books from the 80s original prints that they sell expensively because it's a collector's edition. But there was something about it selling this product that I bought for like $100, a little bit more, for 10 times the asking price. And it just didn't feel, it rubbed me up the wrong way. I didn't like it. I've not really fully explored why in my head, but it just feels like it's almost like it's like it's probably not what happened, but you could easily just go and buy the deluxe editions now for $100 and sell them for $1,000 in 3 months. And you can buy up to 3. So it's like, why doesn't everyone just buy 3 of them and then make $2,000? Now, I'm not saying they're selling it. I'm not saying like people are buying it. Maybe no one will ever buy it. Maybe it's there to be bought. But yeah, I didn't like it though. But yeah, what can be done? I mean, there's so many people who just want to turn a profit. I mean, look at the Steam controller. Are they doing with the Steam controller as well? I can believe it. Just look at Ticketmaster. I'm going to see Brennan Lee Mulligan play here in Toronto in this month, in like a few weeks. And the tickets are pretty expensive. They're just expensive because if people are willing to pay, people will put the prices up. It's a shame. It is a shame. You started watching it, you'll finish this weekend. Seemed awesome so far. Loved the opening scene. Oh yeah? The bar fight? Yeah, it was fun. That was one thing that I wish I just could edit down more, because even that was... I wanted it to be very fast-paced. I wanted it to be like, okay, there's a fist flying at you. Player 1, please describe yourself and what you do to avoid this fist. Right? And then but we ended up just getting locked in a little bit too much in that descriptions and stuff, which is fair. Like, I don't mean to be too hard on myself. I just mean like it's so interesting to film yourself GMing and think that you paced that scene well, and then when I edited it down, I was like, oh, I didn't pace this well at all. I didn't come across like I thought I was coming across. And it was very interesting to me because I was like, oh, okay. So this is good that I'm filming myself GMing, because the reality of what I thought isn't reality of what the reality is. Words. It's super hard to keep short. Yes, I agree. But I was watching, I would love to know how they film it. But obviously we've seen many examples of Brennan Lee Mulligan DMing now, especially for Critical Role. And when I watch Dimension 20, I am so aware that they are cutting a lot out. And I do wonder how long a filming session for Dimension 20 goes. Probably, I'm going to presume, I have no idea. If I was just going to make an educated guess about what I know, I think they sit down and they film for maybe 4 or 5 hours per episode of Dimension 20. And then they cut that all down to like 2 hours. And it amazes me. And there's lots of little tricks there. I think a really good example of this is the new D&D official actual play that is coming out. They cut that thing so tight, and part of me likes it because I've got ADHD, and the other part of me is like, we're missing out on a lot of like the back and forths, because when you think about what they're cutting out, it's probably the players being like, wait, how does this work again? Or the GM being like, actually, no, scratch that. That didn't happen. Or ignore that. Or if you remember, little things that help the players that don't necessarily help the audience. And it's kind of a double-edged sword where like cutting that is good especially for a YouTube audience, but also it's bad for like specifically like fans of GMing. If you watch it for like GMing inspiration and just to see other people GM and absorb that, rather than watching it as a like storytelling piece of media, then there's many different ways to watch, though. Many different ways to watch. Oh yes, a one-shot from the Daggerheart core rulebook would be nice. Yeah, I think I might do Sablewood. Also because it's like easy to put together, I think, for next week. I'm very nervous about doing it live, but I'm excited I want to do it live. But I was very nervous about filming and putting the last one up on YouTube. But it was nice to know that I could make mistakes or like do really bad voices or do anything, and I still had the ability to A, cut bits out, or B, just not publish it at all if it was bad, right? Including not just my GMing, but technical difficulties. For example, this happened, and there's a weird cut. I don't know if I left a little bit in, but at one point during the actual play that came out last week, the camera broke. My camera just turned off. It overheated. And there was a good 5 minutes where I was trying to get it to work again. And the idea of that happening when we're live, scary. It's kind of why I've been streaming so much this past week, because I want to get used to just being live to you guys more. But at the same time, the idea of being able to like have a chat there and incorporate them in fun ways, it opens up a whole new side of GMing and Daggerheart for me, because I would love to like play with that and come up with ways to incorporate chat into the narrative and into the world where you guys are playing as well. I talked about this yesterday. I talked about my idea. I think it's good. I think it's a really fun idea where chat are like a artifact in the world that's just full of lost souls, and every soul is a chat member, and they're crazy or from other dimensions. So the stuff they're saying often makes no sense as far as the actual narrative in the world goes. And you're just like, why are they saying that? But it means that the players can role play as their characters and communicate with chat. And sometimes chat can talk back in character as this artifact, right? Or even attack. Maybe the artifact has like abilities where chat can trigger things that can affect the game. And I'm sure it's been done before. I'm sure it's been done very well before by other actual players, but I've not really seen it. And yeah, I don't know. I think I get excited about that kind of stuff. Quick play is cool, but also love session zeros in Daggerheart. Character connections, communal world building. If the live play does well of Sablewood, then I might start I don't want to do a long campaign because they just don't do that well anymore. And it's such a buy-in. Like if I was like, hey, we're going to play the same game for the next 6 months, it's a lot to ask of my players. It's a lot to ask of the audience. And I kind of think Critical Role hit the nail on the head with Age of Umbra. I think like an 8-part or maybe even a 4-part miniseries is the way forwards. I think it's the future because it's what Dimension 20 does every season. It's like we have a limited run here. We can still get the session zero. We can still get the character arcs. We can still get all that stuff. But that you can just wait 8 weeks for them all to come out and just binge watch them if you want to. So make a backup VTuber model. What would if I was going to be a VTuber, if I was going to be like an animal-based VTuber, what would I be? Don't say a rat. Don't say that ugly fish under the ocean. You know the fish, the puffy one. Don't say that. I'd want to be a fox. I'd want to be a fox. I ran Sablewood. Would like for someone to use it, then make it to a campaign of sorts. Interesting. Yeah. Silence, did I say hi to you when you shouted, Phil? I hope so. If not, hi. Darlington is releasing a sequel to Sablewood on free RPG Day. Is that what it is? Is it a sequel to Sablewood? So I might time it. Wait, what's next Friday? No. So yeah, I will release that next week, and maybe the week after, I'll do the Darlington release. I don't know if you call them Darlington by accident or on purpose, Future, but I like it. Darlington Press. Hold on. Hold on. Technical difficulties, we call those players, Phil. You don't have to mince your words. Yeah, what if my players are insane? Just slammed my table. Wait, where did I leave off on this chat? Sai, I wish I could get a deluxe edition here. Love the Fear Trackers in Hope and Fear. It looks cool. The Fear Trackers look cool. Silence, it was $100 and it's already on eBay. We should refer to this as getting Loganed. I'm not getting those references. Fist, I thought you said fish. I was saying fish. Like the fish under the ocean. That fish? I don't know. I mean, I knew they were coming for the One Piece, but I never expected Daggerheart merch. I'm running my first game of Daggerheart today. Thanks for the videos. Tiny Tactician. When? How many hours have you got till game night? I'm so happy. I'm excited for you. I hope you have an awesome time. Just take it easy and don't let it, as easy as it is to say. If you're brand new to TTRPGs in general, that is, I'm making a presumption there. I'm sure you've GM'd before, but if not, just take it easy and just go with the flow and enjoy yourself. Maybe the whole 8-hour workday. I think they could be. I think Dimension 20 could be doing a full day of filming and then cutting that down and just losing 6 hours. Probably not, because I do think Brennan can be good at pacing, but there's definitely moments where you're watching it and the players are so on point, because they're like in the newest season they're playing Vampire the Masquerade, and as far as I can tell, they're not like experts at the game, but you never see them getting lost in the rules really that much, and it's just very obvious if you watch it that there's cuts between Brennan saying something and a player replying so fast that I know they're improv professionals, but there's just no way that they aren't breathing between sentences sometimes. And that comes to a place I like that. I like it. But sometimes I wish there was I wish we saw the bits in between, if that makes sense. And it's kind of... People don't really talk about this, but the way that Dimension 20 is filmed in comparison to Critical Role being just one camera on them, unedited, compared to Dimension 20 with three cameras. One is, the 3-camera thing is specifically, because it does look good, but it's specifically there because you can always cut away. And whenever you see, just for my background of working in TV, I think there's a very good chance, and it happens a lot, you will see cuts to the other players when someone's talking or something's happening. And if it cuts to players and they don't talk, it's just a reaction look, most probably that is an area where they've chosen to cut something out because they've cut away from the person talking. So they cut, and there'll be a cut there, so they're cutting something out. And there's a very good chance that the reaction that you're seeing of someone laughing or someone pulling a face, I think, and I believe, I'm not saying this happened, but I think Dimension 20 in a Bus is a really good example where Amy would say something as Dragon Master, and it would cut to Brennan, and Brennan would go and do a really big funny face, and there's just such a good chance that they just took that reaction from another point in their actual play. You know, they just cut it around it and put it there. Maybe not, probably not. Probably don't need to. Like, they're all experts, they know what they're doing. But that 3-system camera sets it up so you can manipulate that really well. So I think there's a lot of props to like Critical Role where there's just a level of you see the full thing. And that they've stuck with that when they didn't have to. Because originally it was like that because it was live and they couldn't cut around it. But now that it's pre-recorded, I bet they had a really big conversation about whether or not to go the easier route of having the cuts the way Dimension 20 does compared to just the full thing. There's one episode of Crown of Candy where they say they're filming at like 3 a.m. in a warehouse, as I think they go for hours. Yeah. I've seen that. There's a super cut of Ali saying constantly that it's 3 a.m. in a warehouse. You can guess at this based on the Legend of Advantris, and their streams are normally twice or 3 times the length of their videos of the session. Yeah. Daggerheart needs pre-written adventures and campaigns, in my opinion. I get what they were going for with frames, but I work full-time, and I'm a full-time student, and I'm a GM. I don't have time to write a novel. Okay, R3D473. I have an adventure that I was working on this morning that I want to show you guys in a bit, and I would love to know what you think of it, because I'm trying to do it in a way that is very different from a normal pre-written adventure, and I don't know if it's good or not. You know when you just throw something at a page and you're like, is this good? So I'll show you that in a bit, and we'll take a look at how I create like adventures or even just prep for sessions. Get a silent 120mm computer fan and glue it to a tripod and plug it into a battery pack. My wife uses a DSLR camera for her streams, and we had to do this, and it solved the heat issue. Interesting. Who's your wife? How many viewers has she got? Can I coattail on her fame and fortune? I'm always up for networking with more streamers. My wife wants to get back into streaming as well. She wants to. She might use, because she streamed like during COVID and liked it, but it's a lot of work, and I think she's thinking about like testing the waters out again of getting back into it with the actual play we do next Friday. So there's going to be a level of like her, just like getting back on Twitch and doing that thing, and then she might like start streaming again on the regular. It's a lot though. Like I'm very lucky that I'm full-time content creator, at least for now, because when you're doing this with like a full-time job, it's like, oof, not enough time. Silence, you want to try something mod related? What is it? That was sent 10 minutes ago. Okay, I'll catch up. Make a backup VTuber module when camera dies. I read that already. I'm going to be a fox. I got to prep some adversaries and locations, but we spent a few hours yesterday coming up with the premise for the one-shot. I'm going really low prep, so we'll see how it goes. Nice. Let me know if you want a Colossus to use, and I can give you some stat blocks. Will do. Oh, yeah, sorry. I said my players, there's a fist coming at them. Yes, not a fish. But that would be a fun one for the next one. The next opening. A fish flies towards you. Plane. You're going to be running Sablewood tomorrow, DMing for the first time. Ooh, okay. I would love to know what you think of it after you're done. Darlington slaps. Phil, there's opportunities to mess with your players here. Have them roll insight, roll low, message a mod on Discord. We add a prediction that says, will the players realize they're walking into a dragon's lair? Then wait for them to realize. Yeah, that's so true. That is so true. it relies on my players not having chat open, which I don't trust them not to. I don't want to ask them not to have chat open because I want them to interact with chat. But not in a way that's like distracting, in a good way. You'll see. Camera cuts also to get around Twitch, YouTube policies on alcohol and tobacco products, vapes. Wait, what? You think they're just vaping between so they cut around it? It's reality TV type cuts, basically, yeah. Yes, and dragons, that's what we do on our show. We are unedited and we keep it that way. Nice. So how long do your episodes run for normally? Or how long do you film for, I should say? Not telling. She does model kits of Sailor Moon and the like. That's awesome. It's awesome. I'll ask her if she's okay with me name dropping it. It's fine. It's fine. I don't want to take from it. No, I guess I need to make a fishmonger adversary. But no, that's cool. It's really cool that she is doing model kits and stuff. The hobby stuff like that on Twitch is such a fun environment, I think, you know, because you just get people who are really into that stuff. Your streams are just shy of 4 hours on average. Right. Yeah. It's kind of like a standard game, I guess. You know. Do you stream in person? It's so chill, to be honest. Yeah. I bet it's freaking awesome. I bet being in those chats is really fun. Like, depending on what she's doing, there's probably like an ASMR-esque aspect of it, which is just like, this is just really satisfying to me to like watch and listen to. I cut the intro loop and the break in the middle, but that's it. Nice. 100%, yeah. Alright, I'll show you guys my my adventure anyway. This is, you'll see. It's still very. I threw words at a piece of paper. I'm going to change most of this, but just to give you an idea of what I'm thinking for this adventure, which I'll release for people to play. So it's set in on my Patreon, I have a full chapter of this lore-born city called Fairlow, and there's tons of environments and adversaries and like adventure hooks in there. And one of the tier 1 adventure hooks, I kind of took and turned it into like a full thing. And it's kind of like, it's called Alchemy Gone Rogue. And the whole thing is the players are set to find, it's a classic thing. They're set off to find some stolen goods that have been stolen from this grand library in the city. Like a museum, pretty much. And they find the people who are stealing them, and it's a bunch of alchemists who are using like alchemy and magic illegally to change their bodies to strengthen them to like become more evolved people, but they're the bad guys. So the whole thing is pretty much the MacGuffin is go find these stolen goods and then defeat these alchemists, right? It's very basic. So the way that I'm kind of setting this up is this is like about the city for the GM to kind of know. And then I've got like a note here, which is most of this is set in the evening. So I was saying that shops and establishments are often open late. This adventure takes place in the evening and can run late into the night. It's up to you and your players whether your locations are open or closed, depending on whether the table would like more social encounters and more exploration encounters. So I kind of did this because I think it leans well into the Daggerheart modular vibe, which is when the players approach a shop to like investigate stuff, they have an option of it being open where they can go in and they can have a social encounter and talk to the person behind the thing, or they can have the option of it being closed, so then they're sneaking in, getting through a locked door, you know, rifling through the files, finding the information there. So I really like that because it, you know, it just gives options there depending on the vibe and the table. Yes and Dragons, thank you for the follow. So that's how far did you get into your playlist? I actually did more work on that this morning as well. But I kind of changed my tune on it. And I've decided now that I'm going to be using my Stream Deck, of which I have 6 buttons that I can press to change the playlist. So I was like, okay, I can only have 6 playlists for my games. So I've decided on, now, at this point, an adventure-based playlist. So when the mood is adventure, like these epic moments of traveling, or they come to a new city and it's bustling and like there's kind of wonder and awe, that's the adventure playlist. Then I have a settlements playlist, which is taverns or cities or shops, and that's going to be more social role-playing encounters. Then I have a mystery playlist, because I personally like to do a lot of like suspense and mystery, especially in like exploration. So that's kind of where that lies. Then I've got combat, self-explanatory. Then I've got epic, which is like a special one, which is I probably won't play for long, but in big moments, like how do you want to do this moments? Or, you know, you round the corner of this mountain and you see the capital city rise above you, and it's an amazing sight. I want this epic music, and I go for that. And then the last playlist of these 6 is emotional. And then emotional is just a similar vibe, but it's actually just going to be quite chill. And it's, in my mind, it's more like, you know, the players are around a campfire talking about their past, or is that kind of vibe. And I kind of want to create those playlists and maybe have like 20 music tracks in each one that will be looped. And that way I can just switch between them. But I'm kind of scared I'll just forget to switch. That's one of my biggest fears. Still Cage, what's going on? Wait. So it's literally high fantasy, cyberpunk, illegal, Ripper, doc mods. Yes, it is. You break your music down by vibes. Cold, church, lament, mountains, space, sneaky, tribal. Yeah, but I can only have 6. So it's the big 6. I can make a button that leads to multiple pages. I don't want to be multitasking like that, if that makes sense. I really want a very simple music situation. And then maybe if I have big moments planned that could happen and I know music would suit it, I can like actively go out and set that up separately, but yeah. I would 100% just add Elton John into the playlist to see what players react, yeah. Rick roll them. I said again. But yeah, we'll see if this is what I go with, but those are kind of the ones that I'm settling on now. Adventure, settlements, mystery, combat, epic, and emotional. And then also being okay with silence as well. Because I think that's a big part of it, right? I don't need music playing consistently. So there's an added playlist in there, which is no music. Though we'll see. We'll see. Because whatever I use, this is like live. This is for live music, right? So we're live and I'm switching between these songs and stuff. I think it's going to be quite quiet when live anyway, because I do not want it to distract. People might not even know there's music, because hopefully it's so subtle. But then when I edit it down, I will specifically find different songs and different music for each thing and put sound effects on there. So really, it's not that big a deal. I'm even tempted to just try streaming without music at all. And that's what I might do next Friday. Because I'm sure a lot of actual players will do it without music. But I just don't want it to feel dry, you know? Even just for my players. Can't multitask. Pff, not a real gamer. What are you talking about, Stillcatch? I am a real gamer. I'm a real gamer. I can frickin' multitask when have my ult charge at the bottom and I need to pay attention to what number that is on while looking at my health to make sure I know what that is at, or making sure I know how many enemies there are in front of me. That's fine, because it's a very specific, I'm controlling one entity, but there's different entities involved in this scenario. Not a real gamer. Get out of here. Get out of here. I keep a little board of notes and reminders to myself behind my screen, and one of those notes that's always there is be okay with silence and let the scene breathe. I think that's good. Yeah. Your conversion would fall into combat, non-combat, environmental, and SFX. Someone yesterday had like a good plan, which was just the 3 pillars. Music for social encounters, music for combat, and music for exploration. And I'm like, that is good, but I want to be a little bit nuanced than that, because then exploration, I want there to be like adventure exploration, and then I want there to be creepy, like suspense exploration, you know? And with social, I want, for example, a social is hard. It's actually very hard. I never really put much thought into how hard it is to not just have access to Spotify and just search wherever you are and get something from it. Because this has to be copyright free, and I'm like using Epidemic Sound. But there's a world where in social, like a tavern has very different music and different vibes to a bookshop. And if I started playing tavern music in a bookshop, it would ruin the immersion for me. Yet, I really want tavern music because I think it makes or breaks immersion in a tavern. So it's hard. Someone said 3 pillars. You mean your loving and caring mod? I can't remember who it was, Silence. So if it's just me versus you, he said. No, okay, I think, yes, it was Silence. Silence said the 3 pillars. Oh, funny enough, I was literally just watching the actual play. They were talking to Stilton right now, so I'm not that far in. Nice. I was actually quite proud of Stilton. I was very scared that I would be bad at improvising on the spot, like scenes and NPCs. I came up with Stilton so fast in my head of exactly who it was, and I just based him on a character from the 2000 and I want to say 8, maybe it was after 2008 TV series Fringe, and there's a character in Fringe who owns like a bookstore, or he owns like a pawn shop, I should say. And I was just like, let's just go with him. Let's go. And I don't know how I came up with Stilton. I think I was thinking of cheese for some reason. But that was the case of me just asking my players, like, do you want to know an NPC? And they were like, yeah, I think I would know a guy. And I was like, well, let's create the guy together then. And it worked. And I was surprised at that. I was surprised it worked so well. You want some social music? I can give you a recommendation. No, I'm just sticking with Epidemic Sound for now, I think, for ease. It's what I use for all my videos and stuff. So if they're on Epidemic Sound, then yeah, go for it. Banning Phil from his own chat. No. I started using Pocket Bard the last 2 weeks. I've heard good stuff about Pocket Bard. I have heard good stuff about Pocket Bard. Because they have scenes within those scenes. You have combat, social exploration. Yeah. Maybe they could sponsor me. I have a list of first and last names at the back of my notebook. Line them up so on the fly I always have names. I should do that. I have like a document in Google Docs somewhere that I was using for a while, but who knows where it is now. Check out Ivan Dutch. Specifically the folk series. It's license free. Okay, I will. I'll check it out. The music in the pack is themed as the blacksmith, the druid, the farmer. That's cool. Use Epidemic Sound. There are YouTube channels that make looped single-track videos from Epidemic Sound for home use, but I don't know if you can use them for streams. I believe I can just loop them myself. I can go into DaVinci Resolve. I can go into my edit software, and it's not easy to do, but actually it is easy to do. It might not be perfect, but it's easy to do. Because you can just fade. You just cut them in half, find areas where it's loud, fade them into each other, and you could have a track that runs, 40 minutes or so. I may do that. Maybe. We'll see. Because I believe it's still covered under. I'm allowed to do that under their license. Yeah, that's what I do too. Yeah. This pack comes with MP3 FLAC loops as well as stems to add in subtract elements of the songs. Yes, they have that in Epidemic Sound, unless that's what you're talking about as well. Which is good because there was a Pirates track that I really liked, and I was like, "Can I use this?" And I've not done this yet. I was like, "Can I use this?" But in parts of the pirate track, it's perfect, except occasionally a pirate goes, "Huh." And I was like, I don't like the "huh" sound. It's going to say things out of it. So I guess I can just go take that out. Per the exploration and social combat, you can also control intensity, which usually adds extra elements to the music that makes it feel bigger, but not necessarily more tense. More epic versus more subtle. Interesting. Yeah, I should look into that. What, you don't want Link to be a pirate? The way I play Zelda, he is a pirate. All right, anyway, so, yes. So for this adventure that I'm making, it's all set in this magical Lawborn city. It's a big city. Think New York, but magical. I keep saying I have a little narrative overview, which I've stolen from the Quick Start adventure. Except I just made it 3 acts, because the Quick Start adventure is 5 acts. And I don't like that. So I'm going to do 3 acts. Which is Act 1, we introduce PCs in the Grand Library before they're pulled into an investigation to find and return stolen artifacts. Act 2 is the PCs investigate locations, eventually finding a warehouse full of stolen relics that leads them to a secret alchemy lab. I actually, you'll see I need to change this, because this is not what happens in Act 2 anymore. Act 3, the PCs confront the alchemists and reclaim the stolen goods. I think Act 2 is now the PCs investigate locations, eventually leading them, quite simply leading them to a secret alchemy lab. That's that's pretty much it. And then the PCs break into the lab and confront the alchemists. So I've got stuff here which is about the Grand Library. If anyone's on my Patreon, they'll know, and have seen my Lawborn stuff, they know about the Grand Library. Think of the Grand Library as this giant library/museum that has forbidden zones, which is areas where they keep magically unstable artifacts and very powerful books, and just stuff that like the public shouldn't have access to. And then I've got stuff by the illegal alchemists as well, which is just about them, how they work. They steal artifacts and stuff, and they transmute their own bodies to become stronger, changing their very structure and form. And they're putting the city and its residents at great risk because the magic they're doing is completely unstable. And then stuff about the PCs, and this is where things were getting interesting, because I was like, I hate starting like one-shots where it's so hard to get the players to just be on the same team and go and do the adventure sometimes, depending on the characters they make. So here, I didn't want to say like they are mercenaries or they are guards or they are this. I still wanted to leave some freedom there. So I think in this I said, this adventure starts with the player characters in the library. The call to adventure will be the library staff asking them to investigate and return stolen artifacts. The easiest way to get this adventure rolling is if the PCs either work for the library as security, work for the city in law enforcement, or are trusted mercenaries that do this kind of work often. Otherwise, each PC would need a reason to be in the library and a narrative reason for going on this adventure. So I just wanted to make it very clear that like the players' characters need to want to go on this adventure willingly and enthusiastically. And it's better if you make it their job in some way to do so. And that's kind of what I wanted to get at there. But I also wanted to say, alternatively, the PCs can start in a different location and be pulled into this adventure through different means. Discuss with your players the best way to integrate their characters into the story. And if in doubt, go with the path of least resistance, even if it feels a bit janky. I might change this because even if it feels a bit janky, it doesn't feel like good writing to me. But it's true. I am kind of like, embrace the jank. You're just getting the adventure going. So if a player character has to do something that doesn't really make much sense to make them want to do this thing, just do it, right? People might disagree with me on that, but I just think getting into if it's a one shot, just go with the flow. What is playing? What is music? Oh, it's some kind of. Oh yeah. Time to get them to sponsor my actual play. You mean Pocket Bard? Yeah. I wonder how many views I would have to get to start getting sponsors. My last one got 5k views, and I'm really genuinely impressed with that. Because it's for a Daggerheart actual play. I think 5k views is really good. But I'm also very aware that a lot of those views will be people coming in just to see, like from my bigger channel as well, just to see how I GM, and they've done it now. So I don't think my next one will get as many views, if that makes sense, unless I do something big with it. But like I said, the next one won't be, for me, it's not about getting views, it's about practicing going live and doing it live. Leave it in, keep the personality. Maybe, yeah. I'm also lazy. I find the ranges in Daggerheart confusing. Tiny Statistician, did you see my stream 2 days ago where I talked about Owlbear Rodeo? There's a really good visual in there. Let me get it up for you. That really kind of like makes ranges just like click. I personally think. So it's Owlbear Rodeo. So it's just a VTT, if you will. And if I click in measurements here, it shows me the ranges in very simple terms. So I'm on the rogue now here. And from where the rogue is stood, he can move close range and take an action, meaning he can go this far. Now, obviously, there's walls in there, so he couldn't go exactly this far, and things get a bit more confusing when you're dealing with walls. Then I would just fall back to these how many squares, which will be 6 squares they can move. But in general, for line of sight, I just find this really useful, and that's far. So if you ignore the walls and stuff, with an agility roll, they could get anywhere around here, but not further. But yeah, I like that. It is, yeah. It's a nice, easy visual. I'm most worried about Theatre of the Mind because I didn't have time to prep minis. I might use this on my TV. Yeah, there's like a few extensions on here that I've had to download. So one is the measurements one. And then, I mean, that's really the only one you need. But I also got a dice rolling one as well. So players can roll dice on here, including different colored dice, which I like a lot. So I can click 2 different ones and I can choose this D12, for example, for fear, and then this D12 for hope, and I can roll that and get a crit. Oh, so close. I can get a 23 with fear, which is really painful because that's such a high roll for it to fall on the fear side. I think there should be a house rule where if you roll 2 12s, it's a super crit. Go on, get a 3. Hold on. I've been really meaning to add this so you guys can roll duality dice. So I probably will, but Silence, I'm gonna give you a duality roll when I remember how to do it. Here it is. So the first number that comes up is hope, and the second one is fear. So that is a 7 with hope. So congratulations. You failed the thing. You take max stress. You're now stressed. If it's 12-12, then you get your crit as normal, and the next spotlight action or attack against the adversary in that scene is also a crit. I want to keep it simple, and I'm like, a 12-12 means that nice 6 you also fail. I think if you get 2 12s, then you get a normal crit, so you get to clear a stress. You automatically succeed, you clear a stress, and you get a hope. And also one other, in fact, because 12-12 is so rare, every player gets a hope. Every PC gets a hope. Or maybe it's within like range of you. I think something like that could be cool. A 3. A 3. That sucks. What was the last one? I missed it. Worst roll on stream. Was it lower or higher than the 3? Yeah, you get everything you normally get as a crit, but the next person that is spotlight is also a crit. That feels too overpowered to me. I recommend the channel Knights of Last Call. He has a lot of great tips about narrative games and Daggerheart. I'm going to use his idea to ask players what their character's hope and fear is. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Is it 1 out of 144 chance that you get a 12-12? We got to come up with a better term. A super crit? A super crit. Yeah, so I mean, I've been playing Daggerheart for a while now. I've never seen a player get 2 12s. I've never seen it. So there's something there. There's got to be a super crit for sure. Have you guys ever seen a 2 12er? Ironically, we had 2 in our session 1. Okay, fine. Guess it's not as special as I want it to be then. There's a potion in Daggerheart that allows your next attack to crit. Yeah, I'm not saying... But to give one player a crit and then another player right after a crit is so much damage. And guaranteed damage that as a GM, I'm not willing to allow it. A holy crit does seem funnier. I do like a holy crit. Maybe it changes depending on what class you are. So a holy crit is if you're a seraph. And then, I don't know, if you're a wizard, it's like a magic crit or something like that. I just received the new quick start adventure from Daggerheart. Qbox, what? Hold on. Everyone stop talking but Qbox. Silence in chat. Qbox, what do you mean you just got the new quick start adventure from Daggerheart? Explain yourself. Stop talking about the crit. Stop talking about the super crit. I would also add maybe remove a fear. Stop talking about the crit. Stop talking about the super crit. Seems like a class ability. I would like to hear from Qbox. And can he send me the adventure if he received it? Why would you get the adventure? Okay, he might just be gone. It could have been a troll move as well. We can go back to talk about the crit now. Oh wait, it's still in kind of draft, but we'll get the definitive version on the 15th-ish. Qbox, wait, who are you, Qbox? Are you a creator? How do I get my hands on it? Oh, you work at a board game store, right? Okay. Okay, you work at board. Okay. Yes, I remember now. How does it look? Can you talk about it? Yeah, definitive version on the 15th. They send you in draft because you're going to be playing the game with people on like for the birthday. Is that why they're doing it? Drop pics in the Discord. Let's get this guy fired. Let's get this guy absolutely NDA'd through the wazoo. You're going to be hosting in the store, yes. Can you say anything? Have you signed anything? I'm a good guy. We're good here. We're goodies. We're goodies. I just want to know if you can, like, give me, like, basic words to describe it. Lol, NDA about to roll a super crit. A holy crit. A holy crit. Ooh, okay. I wonder if we can go back to like the silence from Daggerheart here. Like if I contact Darrington Press and say I want to run a live stream of it when it's released, will they send it to me early? Question mark. And we should clip this, turn it into a short. Hey Darrington Press. I am a Daggerheart creator and I would like to play the new Quick Start adventure for your birthday. And for wait, cut, let's start again. I messed up. How do people do this? Hey Darrington Press. I am a Daggerheart creator and I would like to play the new Quick Start adventure for Daggerheart's birthday. And I was wondering if there was a chance I could get early access to it to prepare. Like and subscribe. Thank you. Thoughts, concerns, queries? Quick remove. Yeah. Yeah. A chat said we are going to kill someone. Oof. Oof. It's fine. That'll be out there anyway. It'll be a shot. It'll be my face incredibly close to the camera. Have I ever been in direct contact with Darrington Press? I've not. I think I reached out to them in the early days when this channel had 500 subscribers, and even now I have 4,000, so it's still small. Have I? I think I've had one of the people who work there comment on a video or something like that. My review video, I think, on my main channel. But no, I've not had any actual contact with them. Depending on what you mean, right? I reached out to Critical Role's PR people, and they got me an interview with Spencer Stark and Matthew Mercer, the creators of the game. So I've interviewed them, and I've definitely been in contact with them. There's video evidence of that. But as far as Darrington Press as an entity goes, I've not had any communication. Thank you for the follow, Scientist. I hope they're going to digital copy. I think it's only going to be digital. Am I right there? Like Qbox? Is it just a digital copy? I presume so. Because they were talking about trying out digital only stuff. I think I can share that it's themed around a... How do you do a redacted sound? Do I have one of those? No. I can do it in Discord. I can beat myself, but we're not in Discord. Yeah. Throw some stars out. Can I get some redacted in chat, please? Stars in chat for redacted. Okay, it's themed around a birthday fest. Sorry, it's themed around a beep beep. Cool. Cool. I just started like... Oh. I just started like grabbing this and moving it around like a freaking absolute ADHD kid. Could do this for hours. Yeah, the birthday theme was mentioned in our announcement blog. You're safe. Man, I love beep. Beep, beep, man. Beep, beep. Anyway, back to my my adventure. So, yeah, getting the PCs just to do the thing is like pretty much a big part of this stuff. It's like, hey, players, make sure your PCs are going to do the thing. And then going to Act 1, I have like the Grand Library. So I started doing this script writing-esque vibe at the start of these text boxes, which is just interior of Grand Library evening, you know? And I actually kind of like it. I kind of like it as just like a very quick way to get a lot of information across. Then there's like information about the room they're in, the Grand Library, including a large painting that covers the domed ceiling. And then my little questions for like the GM and players here for inspiration is, what historical event, character, or ideology from this region's history does the ceiling painting represent? That's a long sentence. I'll probably change that, but the idea is there. What are the PCs feeling toward the painting? And like, I kind of like that because it means that it's not actually going to affect anything here, but it's going to affect the history of the entire city they're in. And it can like lay a foundation for a lot of details coming up. You know, if they're like, oh, this is like when the painting is the battle between the demons and the gods that happened 1,000 years ago. And then you can like lay out that in other places, that kind of belief system and how that affected things. You clips it for me? Oh no. Which part? It better be... Oh god. Thank you, Still Cage. I can't wait to watch that. Everyone send that to Darrington Press. Beep beep. I just wrote out the final copy of the buy-ins and for our episode today. But Discord is down and I can't send it to anyone. That's totally not stressful. Discord's like down completely. Yeah, make another sacrifice to the corporate overlords. Remember when you had to like show Discord your ID? Fun times. Fun times. So once you've done that, it's like have the players introduce their characters and also potentially have them talk about what brings them to the library. Maybe they're looking for a piece of information or knowledge that they've not been able to find elsewhere. This is a great chance to allow them to roll checks to look through the library and to try and find the information they seek. So I just wanted this to be like an opening thing, describe your character, what information do they need? And I want it to be kind of like a key to unlock some backstory straight off the bat. It's like, or like the goals. Like what goals do your players have, right? And then, depending on how they roll, or just when the scene's run its course, as a consequence to rolling with fear, or when the scene runs its course, a librarian runs out of the room distressed. Another relic has been stolen from a forbidden area of the library. She's desperate and asks the PCs for help. If the PCs work for the city or the library in some capacity, they are offered a bonus of a bag of gold each. So I wanted that to cover like if they've made characters that are built into this already, then that's how that plays out. But if they haven't, then the librarian asks them to help in secret. If the goods are not returned soon, she'll lose her job. So I wanted to give a secondary reason why the PCs would go on this adventure if they had nothing to do with the library or law enforcement or anything. You know, if they're just adventurous. So she offers them a bag of gold each there. And then I'm not going to put this in here, but in my mind, I'm like, if the players still don't like bite for the monetary and emotional hook of A, helping this librarian not lose her job, B, not just protecting, like B, they don't want to protect the city from these terrorists, and C, they don't want the gold, and they just don't want to partake in this adventure, I truly am like, they're not collaborating with you. They're not playing Daggerheart correctly, because they will not collaborate with you. Unless they are willing to then create a story themselves and go off in a direction, which, you know, let them do that. But really, that's like a conversation where you're like, this is not in the heart of Daggerheart. Please make the librarian rolls for Mozdink. Mike Wachowski, I'm going to need you to go file artifact report. I can't do that voice, but yes. We don't talk about the dark times. Oh yeah, Discord. And that's kind of the main bulk of Act 1. It's the introduction of the characters and the call to adventure, and them setting off on this adventure. And I've got a little area on the path to Act 2 is you throw the ball to them, right? So once PCs accept this quest, they can go anywhere they want. But you've got some examples for them. You're not just like saying like, what do you do now? It's like a few examples. You could investigate the area the last artifact was stolen from, with permission from the librarian. You could go to a law enforcement building to find out if similar crimes have been committed elsewhere, or you could call on a favor from a friendly NPC who may have information about this. And then I give an example of a journalist reporting crimes like this in the past, like someone with more information. The idea would be that your players would then create scenarios or places or NPCs themselves collaboratively at the table with you that you can then go and go to new locations with. Or they might have ideas, or they might have things that they want to do themselves in this scenario. But if you don't get anything from them, right, if they're very quiet or hesitant, nothing comes to mind, I've said go with the flow and fall back on the examples above. So just say you can do this, or you can go speak to a journalist you know, or something like that. I think that's a really nice way for like certainly new GMs to push their players to do things, but have that safety net of things to fall back on. And then, yeah, so this is a chance for you to collaboratively create places and NPCs with your players. Ask them these open-ended questions. If this was a movie, what do you think the next scene would be? I'm very proud of that. I don't know why. It's good for my brain to be like, yeah, like asking your players that if they don't know what to do, because we have such a shared language of modern media. So it doesn't have to be movie, it could be TV show, it could be book, it could be video game. But if you were like, you know, ingesting this media in another form that someone else had made, what would you expect the next thing to be? That's how you think about your games. Yeah, I think it's really, for me especially, it's really useful to be like that. And it's a really good way to get the cogs moving in the heads of the players. That specifically, it's very different for Daggerheart, I think, because if it was something like D&D, the question is, what would my character do? Right? That's like the classic thing. But I feel like in Daggerheart, the question should be, what would naturally happen next in the story? Right? And that might be, it's a very different vibe. Because the players are like deciding and controlling and collaborating in a way that is not just about their characters anymore. It's about all their characters and the outer world around them. So it really emphasizes the collaborative nature of Daggerheart. Yes, I think so. I think so. And then the next one was like, what kind of people would your PC normally hang out with? So then you can get into like backstory stuff. Would they be helpful in this moment? So that's the idea of like, you guys can like come up with potential NPCs or idea of NPCs, and I can fill in the blanks from that stuff. So like, yeah, who would your, like, does your PC have a roommate or family, or do their friends work, you know, in certain areas that could be helpful here? And then we can go and talk to your friends. And then what skills and experience from your PC's past could be helpful right now? It's just a classic one to once again unlock that experience side of things and build that out. And that's how we would get into Act 2, which I've called here the investigation. So that's kind of how I'm laying out this adventure. So that's Act 1, right? I presume like it would be a short act, but you're just getting the ball rolling. Let them speculate the danger of the stolen artifacts. Yeah, there could be a lot of stuff like that as well. You missed an easy hook. You missed an easy hook here. I don't know what accent it is, but I went for it. You missed an easy hook here. What do you think the stakes of what this artifact could do if not recovered? We know the librarian will lose her job, but artifacts are dangerous and sometimes unstable. That is true. Yeah, I might put something like that in here. Yeah. No, you nail it. So Act 2 was the hardest part of this I think, for me, to try and come up with a way of not railroading the players, but still giving enough structure to the GM to be comfortable running the game. And once again, I threw this together this morning pretty fast, so it still needs a lot of work. But depending on where your characters choose to go next, work with your players to describe the scenes, ask them questions such as, is there anybody in this location? Should the PCs be here? There is something off about this place, what is it? And these aren't like ask these questions. Actually, I should like put like a thing here that's saying like, this really is just like examples of like, of things you could ask, right? Depending on the location. But the idea here is in Act 2, the world opens up to the players. They can go anywhere. They can do anything. And they're also helping create places. So really, you don't know where you're going to end up at all. So whether the players choose to investigate areas where crimes have been committed, or seek out knowledge about the crimes from other sources and NPCs, or they go to multiple locations, the goal of Act 2 is for the players to receive the information that the stolen goods are housed in a warehouse in the fashion district. So this is the biggest thing. By the end of Act 2, they just need to know this information. How they get it is really up to you and them in this moment. But Act 3 takes place in this warehouse in the fashion district. So how do they get there? And then I've had use the following reveals to drip feed information to the players that will eventually lead them to the warehouse. And the reveals are like, the goods have been stolen by a group known as the Evolved, a group of alchemists who use transmutation to change their own bodies, making them stronger, faster, and increasing their ability to control destructive magic. That's reveal 1. Reveal 2, they've been stealing artifacts and relics from the library, the Magic University, and from personal collections around town for the past 6 months. Reveal 3, they leave calling cards at their crime scenes, a small stamp of a handprint with 6 fingers. And then last reveal, the stamp uses special silver ink that is only sold at one shop, Think Ink, in the Market District. So that's important. I really like reveals because they can go anywhere they want and talk to any NPC, and if they find a place that could have the information, they can just give these reveals at any point. So, and I think down here, the path into Act 3, follow the narrative and listen to your players. Allow them to lead the investigation, explore locations, and interrogate NPCs. If this act is taking too long, you can jumpstart Act 3 by having the players being contacted by the librarian in Act 1 and telling them about the silver handprint reveal and how the ink is only sold at one shop. From there, the players can investigate the shop, and the owner can either give them the address of the hideout or the players can find it by searching the shop's paperwork. So that's kind of the thing. It's like they do anything, but they're going to end up at this shop, Think Inc. And I can like lay this out way easier, actually. I need to change this around. But then once they're in Think Inc., they find the address of the warehouse because Think Inc. is the only place that sells the stamp that these guys have. So they would have it on record. So I want to go in there and make that more clear. But I also want to go in here and say, like, this is just an example. So they might find a warehouse another way. But if you need to, you can fall back on this. So I want to go in now and make that very clear. What is this? Who is that? How are you? What's up, Beaselmon? 100%. If they underguess the impacts, you can start to reveal how deadly wrong they are, and you motivate them of the severity. If they overspeculate, great, you don't have to reveal that they are right or wrong about that. You kill my father, prepare to die. Having a plethora of clues so the DM can use the clues they remember is always helpful. Yeah. But yeah, the whole goal of this is like to get them to the Evolved hideout. Then I say use this time to tie up any loose ends between the players and the NPCs, or try your hardest to answer any unanswered questions before having the PCs travel to the hideout for the final confrontation. Where, like, this is like a little bit railroady. It's like the final conversation is happening in this place. they've got to go there. So finish everything up. But that's the best way I've found of doing this and keeping some structure. But obviously, as I say throughout, you don't have to follow this. You can just follow the narrative. Act 3, I've not finished yet, but here's my kind of vibe for it. Act 3 of this adventure is in 2 parts. Part 1 is navigating the warehouse, avoiding traps and overcoming obstacles, like a dreaded door. If the session has been going longer than you expected, skip this Act 3 Part 1 completely and move directly to Act 3 Part 2. So that's just there. I really like this level of like, you don't have to do this. Okay, so if you have an extra half an hour or even an hour to kill, you can do this. But if you are like short on time or the pacing's off, you can just go straight to the end. Oh, are you prepping a guide structure for a tabletop story? I'm genuinely not sure what Daggerheart is or what this is. Oh, yes, Beaselman. I am making a one-shot for Daggerheart, which is a TTRPG similar to things like Pathfinder and D&D, but it's a little bit more collaborative with the players, and the way the system works is it can drag the story in really random directions depending on what the players do and how they roll. So it's a lot harder to write like a straight adventure, because normally in something like D&D you can do it by the numbers. And you can like railroad them, this scene, this scene, this scene, this scene. But in Daggerheart, not really as easy. You could do that, but it's not. The system will be fighting you the whole time. So I'm trying to come up with an adventure that uses some kind of layout that is helpful to both GMs who need some structure and guidance, but also gives the system the freedom it so desperately wants and will fight for. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. If it's a one-shot, things can always be railroady. It's always about talking to the players and setting expectations to focus on completing the story in the allotted time given. I agree, but then if they just keep rolling with fear and you have to keep adding complications, at some point, if it's too railroady, you end up ignoring mechanics, right? And I kind of don't want that, personally. What are some cool adversaries I can throw at players in a Louisiana Sinners-inspired monster hunting one-shot? Vampires? Question mark? Vamps? Having if not, then do this instead is very cool. It's a yes and system with soft mechanical crunch. Daggerheart better than Pathfinder, better than all. I mean, it's a preference to any tactician, but I appreciate the. I mean, I agree, but I see the benefits in many systems. You know me, I'm anything but sitting on a fence. You can give the players an easy in by setting the default situation to be, we just got a shipment request that needs to be delivered, aka they have a way to sneak in via delivery of the goods. Yeah. So that's kind of what that's good, Zaintist, because down here, I've not finished Act 3 yet, but they arrive at the warehouse, exterior of a large warehouse evening, and then I've got this text here, which I might change, but I just want to give an idea of this warehouse. A blocky multi-floor building with a sloped roof, lit only by the lights of nearby buildings and moonlight. A 12-foot metal fence with barbed wire surrounds it, with an entrance guarded by 2 Arcanist Adepts, page unknown. Arcanist Adepts are one of my adversaries on my Patreon. I'm going to add it here and add a page number at the end so people can see them. The building has multiple entrance doors and windows, including skylights on the roof. Are there nearby buildings or structures that could help the PCs get to the roof? Is there a sewer system that could provide underground access? Are there any holes or weak spots in the fence? So these are questions for the GM to kind of ask themselves of what would make sense, and also even ask the players to be like, what do you think this looks like? Because the players might love the idea of jumping onto the roof from another building, or zip lining across somehow, or climbing up some kind of like magical crane that lets them up top. or they might love the idea of like going around a fence and cutting through into it, or talking to the guards, like you said earlier, to get in and all that stuff. So regardless of how the players decide to gain access to the building, at any point they could run into the following. And this is kind of what I got to. I was like making a bunch of tiny environments, or encounters, I should say. This was really me just throwing notes. This is nowhere near. This is just me like, what if? So I was like, what if an alchemy enhanced door? A heavy door that only certain enhanced humans can open. So it's going to be a strength check. And then I started putting, I don't know why I did this, but I thought it was helpful, because successes with fears are what a lot of new GMs struggle with, because it's like, how do they succeed, but then also have a complication happen? So I actually started putting like just what happens on a success with fear, potentially. On a success with fear, the door opens, but the pusher falls through and the door stands behind them, separating them from the party, which seems a bit rough. Seems a bit mean, but I imagine, yeah, it's like you have the barbarian, or I should say you have like the strongest person try and push open this door in your party, and it opens, they fall through, and it closes, and it's like, crap, now they're separated. They succeeded in opening the door, but there was a complication, which is now they can't, the door's closed again. And I kind of did that for a lot of this stuff. So I just put a multi-locked door, question mark, potential here, which would be, a finesse check. On a success with fear, the unlocking of the door is louder than expected. So it's like, okay, you succeed on unlocking this door, but it's very loud. Could draw attention to yourself. Alarmed door. So there's runes on a door, which is going to be a knowledge check. So we've got a bit of everything. We have strength, finesse, knowledge. A knowledge check to decipher the runes on this door, or the alarm is triggered. On a success with fear, the PC understands how the door works, but there's a 10% chance of failure. Roll a d10. On a 1, the alarm goes off anyway. I kind of wanted this idea of like, I know how to dismantle a bomb very well, but there's still times when I have to choose between the red and the blue wire. And I think it's the red, but who knows? And I wanted to capture that moment now. It's like, you're pretty sure you're disarming this alarmed door, but there's a 10% chance that you could fail. Bear trap, same thing. Instincts reaction roll to avoid. So it's like the idea is you will, when you get close to it, you roll to see if you see it, a reaction roll. And then I also wanted to give GMs a chance to spend fear, or examples of it. So you can spend a fear to have one very well hidden, and they get disadvantage on the check. On a success with fear, the PC avoids a trap, but does not have enough time to warn a PC behind them, who now has to roll the instant reaction roll up here again, because they might step on it, kind of thing. So I did that with a bunch of stuff. A hallway trap. I want to do something with the entrance guards, where you can convince them to let you past by pretending to be part of their group, a presence check. And you can spend a fear messed up there. Spend a fear to give disadvantage on the social check, because like the guard is having a bad day, or the guard just doesn't like you, and you're just spending a fear to like allow that to be the case, so they have disadvantage. On a success with fear, they get let through the fence and can go into the building, but one of the guards stays with them and escorts them. So it's like, oh crap, we've got this guy following us now, what do we do? That kind of thing. And I wanted to come with just a breaking and entering overall environment of like, doing like a group stealth check, and what could happen if, as they're moving through this building, stealthily, not being seen, how the GM can like spend a fear to have a guard unexpectedly change route. And on a success with fear, when that happens, because an individual will have to make a finesse check to hide. On a success with fear, a PC narrowly avoids being seen, but is not 100% certain, takes a stress because of it. And I also wanted to make a treasure room they could go in. So this whole section needs a ton of work, because I've thrown stuff at it, but I like it. It's like just a bunch of stuff that you could throw at your players, depending on time, depending on vibe, depending on their choices, like depending on the narrative, fundamentally. And then, this is as far as I got, going into the very, very last part, Act 3, Part 2. Once the PCs have navigated the warehouse, they enter a laboratory with the stolen relics. I don't know what I was typing there. I guess that's where I literally stopped typing. And then I also wanted to think for like if the PCs trigger an alarm from the other stuff, or were noticed by a guard, or made a lot of noise while navigating the complex, i.e. Made a lot of noise unlocking this door, then in the final fight, the adversaries have the spotlight first and can act first. So I think there's a lot to do here, but I wanted to see what you guys think of it, because it's so hard as a writer to be like, is this good or not? But as like a layout of giving GMs enough structure and giving them enough ideas and enough, like, I guess, runway, but also giving them and their players a lot of room to move around and create their own story. Is this good? Question mark. The peasants check. Imagine. Oh, let me catch up. The first episodes of Age of Umbra, Matt plays Daggerheart very much like D&D, and I think it's a viable way to play the game that maybe you aren't focusing on enough, especially if it's a one-shot. Yeah, but I don't want this one-shot to be that. Like, I'm not focusing on it because it's a different thing entirely. Like, if I was making a one-shot specifically for people from D&D, then that would be different. But this is just like a Daggerheart one-shot for newer people, right? Also, if you watch newer stuff that Matt's DM'd or GM'd, he GMs very differently now. So I should also say, like, you can still play like that as well. I think if you go watch my actual play, I still play very similarly to like a most TTRPGs out there. It's still got that vibe to it. It's just giving yourself a little bit more leeway either side to collaboratively see what happens, right? I think a lot of fun of Daggerheart is to see the story go this way or that in unprepared ways. But again, if it's a one-shot, the whole world is not your oyster, but the prepared locations are where the narrative needs to be the focus of. I guess so, still, Cage. We might just have to agree to disagree here. I don't think it needs to be the case. Really, I don't think I have to go into like Act 2 and lay out. Lay out this location, this location, this location. I think I can give like hooks and ideas of places they can go, but I don't think I have to go into great detail personally. If I was using this, and I've had it where even with D&D adventures where I'm like, the way that I GM, I'm like, there's too much detail here. Like you've thrown too many curveballs at me in this place. But I guess it's just preference. Heart of Daggers, what's going on? Good morning from Australia. Good evening. It's 5. Holy crap, I'm going to have to go soon, guys. It's 5, so good evening from Canada. How's it going, Heart of Daggers? I think Daggerheart Adventures should be a 2-page spread with premise, adversaries, and character motivations. That is what I set out to do, Tiny Tactician. I set out to make this a 1-page adventure, if you believe it or not. We are at 6 pages currently. And by the time I finish this, it's going to be more, because I want a couple of pages of environments and adversaries, like optional ones to throw at them. That's what I like. That's what I think a one-shot should be. I think a one-shot should just be a bunch of environments and adversaries and scenarios that you can throw at your players, and then a loose narrative connection of how it could go. I think that's kind of like what I like. And if GMs want to, they can just follow the how it could go path perfectly. But the second, a failure with fear or a success with fear veers you off slightly and that leads to another one, and you end up being all over the shop, you're fine because you have all this content to throw at it. But yeah. Like what Nimble RPG does, yeah. Now, the alarm needs to be silent. They think it was disarmed either way, and 10% is trigger. Yeah, that's actually really good. I might steal that scientist. That's very good. Basically, they cut the wire, not the alarm. Basically, they cut the speak wire, not the alarm wire. Yeah. So what I do is, as a GM, I note down a random number between 1 and 10, and don't tell them what the number is. So when they roll a d10, if they get that number, I can mark down that the alarm was triggered, but they won't know. Oh, that's evil. That's evil. I love it. If there's certain areas where they need to get through and you can't add big consequence, maybe for specific areas of failure or with fear, it makes the final encounter harder by adding one extra enemy or something like that. Yeah, I mean, you're right, Still Cage. I think that's good for someone who is like, it just feels too closed for me. You know? It's like when you read Adventures and whenever anyone rolls with fear, you just say they mark a stress. And it's viable and you can do it, but it just doesn't seem it's not as exciting for me to GM something like that. Or like every time you roll with fear, something happens. It's like, nah, let's see what happens in the moment. I'll tell you what it is, Still Cage. The more railroady adventures goes against, I think, one of Daggerheart's core principles. I don't know if it's core principle in there, but it's the play to find out mentality that I think makes Daggerheart so good. And I think one-shots that I've seen, even for Daggerheart, which are very traditional, almost D&D adventures, you're not playing to find out as a GM. You're just going through the motions. And some GMs out there might like that, and some players might like that and go for it. But for me, I really like playing to find out, you know? You need to add a countdown to that environment for traditional play. Yes. Oh my God, Xantis, you're so good. By the way, I'm going to monetize this and I'm not going to give you any money. Is that okay? 0 to 12, the actions, those actions advance countdown. Yeah. Yeah, the countdown, maybe it's too many, but the countdown can like be variable depending on how much time you want to spend in that act, in that section as well. So like if you only want them to do like a few things, then it's like a countdown of 5 or 6. But if you want them to be working their way through this complex secretly and stealthily and running into every single environment and encounter on there, then you turn it into like a D12 or something. I'd love to play a one-shot with you, especially as a forever GM. Tiny Tactician, I would love to play a one-shot as a player too. How about we go out of our way and we find someone? We find a GM to play for us. Where all the Daggerheart GMs are, you know? I mean, I have a lot in my community, I guess. Intro one-shots probably need more veils. They can be removed as a GM and players get used to each other. Yeah. I agree. Not all adventures serve all purposes, for sure. Just simply like the GM and the players, like their personalities can completely change what they're looking for. Okay, we're still on the same page. Deadass, I'm down. Hey, I'll run a one shot for you. Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves, guys. Let's go. I am notoriously bad at getting excited and making plans with people and then never doing it. So you keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Yeah. Still good. You're right. Oh, never mind. Can't DM you. Maybe I can send you something on Discord, but the link in Discord doesn't work. My goddamn link in my Discord. Where's my Twitch on here? Oh, it's over here. There's a trick around it. It's not the There's like 2 buttons down there for Discord. I think one of them doesn't work and another one does. But I'll have to like try and fix that. Some people can use the Discord link, one of them, and others can't. I think it might be browser based or something. I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. Big same, big ADHD energy here. Good, yeah. Same. Me, you, and I'm going to hazard a guess, most of the D&D community and TTRPG community who GM, especially content creators, wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised if a little pill would make their lives a little better a day. For real, I got on ADHD medication not too long ago. Like maybe it was November last year, and I'm 37 years old. So I did most of my life. Did a good 36 years unmedicated, and it really has changed my life in a huge way. Whoa, old man. You never know with the TTRPG community because it's such a wide range of people. So sometimes I say I'm old, and then there'll be someone who is like, I don't try and quote the what's the term? Don't. I'm gonna butcher it. I can't remember it, but the thing that's like, don't quote the magic text to me. I was there when it was written. Yes, and Dragons, you're in your 40s, yeah. And I've had people who are like, I'm 55, and I'm like, I'm so sorry for saying that I was old at 37. But you're still young. You're still young at 55. It's all good. Well, you look young for 37. Good on me. Thank you. Thank you. I also act quite immature as well. So I think that goes a long way. But I'm getting there. Going grey. I'm going grey. I try my hardest to get all the grey hairs out, you know. It's so healthy. Back in my day, we had to roll D12s uphill both ways. Yeah. I don't know if I have ADHD or if I just procrastinate in a Yoda anyway. I can tell you it's so dangerous to talk about stuff like this because it is. The idea of people having ADHD can be contagious. And I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who may think they have it and are even medicated who don't have it. But, I mean, if the medication helps, it helps. But the big I can tell you my thing of why I went to the doctor and was like, hey, I actually think I have ADHD or something, or something. It was when, and this is how like, oof, scientist 1, oof, oh no. I went full-time making content online, and I wasn't making enough money yet to live, right? And I knew if I just worked a 40-hour week, if I just made like a video a week, I was like, I could make enough money to live. And I also love making videos. I like posting videos. I enjoy it. So you'd think those two would go together. It's like I do the thing I like, and I'll make enough money to live, and I'll have a great time. And I went to the doctor and I told him that, and I was like, yet I can't do the work. And it makes no sense because I want to do the work. I enjoy the work. It's fun for me. And also it's about survival. Why can't I do the work? And I told him a bunch of other things that I do. And he was just like, I'm going to give you some pills. So yeah. And then lo and behold, now I can do an 80-hour week. Still struggling to, funnily enough, I'm still struggling to make enough money because I think it had the adverse effect now that I created a second channel. I'm making videos for 2 channels. I'm doing a lot more and I'm streaming. But I think in like February, I was like putting out two or three videos a week. compared to what I was doing before, which was one video every 2 or 3 weeks, right? That was the big difference. And I think because I was like being able to up my quantity, my quality went down. And I think my audience just didn't want that many videos. So actually what happened was I got more productive, but my analytics went down. I was like, God damn it. ADHD ruined me. So now I'm trying to learn to slow down. It was like, all I ever wanted was to speed up. And then I finally managed to get the ability to do so. And now I'm like, I need to learn to slow it down and find like a middle ground. Did I respond to my wife? Did my wife say something? Wait, what? Are we going out for dinner? 1 second. Sorry, I missed your message. I have to go. I gotta go. I'm sorry, guys. I was having such a great time. She asked about dinner, mate. Yeah. No, she's fine. Cloud cover, how's it going? I said I'll finish up stream, so I've got like a couple of minutes to finish this up. I've been too old for this nonsense since I was 30. Almost 30 years ago. I'm going to ignore all the depressing stuff about our hair going grey and our appearance changing because it hits a bit too hard. So, all right, boys, we run the stream now. It's all yours, guys. So I just leave it running. You can just see my room. Yeah, we're going out. We're going out. We're going out for like an event thing tonight, and we need to sell that food. A little date night. Where am I taking you? Casually looking for the end stream button. Just casually. I'm gonna just casually find the hang up button. I am actually hold on. I'm going through a tunnel, so I might